what we do. Good morning, Nonstop News starts right now. We are the only TV station commercial free all the way up to the top of the hour.
We have you covered this morning, including a look at traffic with Joy and a look at your weather with Jennette. Good morning, Jennette.
Good morning. So we had a little taste of fall yesterday morning with temperatures in the 60s. Not so much this morning. That was short-lived. Take a look at how much warmer it is right now compared to 24 hours ago. Many spots, especially near Highway 90, almost 10 degrees warmer. 14 degrees warmer in Kerrville. Temperatures are starting off in the 70s, mid to upper 70s. The exception is Bernie. They're at 68 degrees. New Braunfels currently at 76. The reason why it's milder is because we have the cloud cover, and the cloud cover is associated with that tropical moisture that's associated with Lorena. Rain right now is moving across the Panhandle and into far west Texas. We'll see some of that rain arriving here this weekend. Today will be a dry, hot day. This afternoon, humidity levels do drop. Won't be as humid. Partly to mostly sunny, forecast high of 99. A 30% rain chance for your Saturday. That rain chance increases Sunday. Weather alert day for 2 out of the 4 zones this weekend. We'll take a look at your weekend weather forecast and talk about those rain chances coming up in under 10 minutes.
Live from your South Texas Ford dealer Sky 4, we have a closer look at what's causing some of those major delays on the northeast side of San Antonio right now. Photojournalist David Mendoza bringing us this picture and an update on how we're doing. We had some construction closures here overnight, David, and that was a huge contributing factor for us. But now we have this, which is a little bit different. Have you been able to gather more about what's going on?
Hey, good morning, Joyce. So yes, we have a bit of a traffic situation that's blocking 2 lanes on 35 North after 410 and just before Thousand Oaks. You know, I heard over my scanner that this truck we see here in the middle of our screen might have lost something from the load that it's carrying. I haven't really been able to gather more details than that. Regardless, we do have 2 lanes closed, and it is causing a traffic delay in the northbound lanes of 35. Oh, look at that. Not the way you want to start your Friday morning. If I hear anything else about this, I'll let you know. Talk to you one more time. Back to you.
All right, thanks, David. We'll check in again soon. This is the area he's talking about, again, kind of as you're approaching Loop 410 there along I-35, the northbound lanes. Southbound lanes are actually doing okay. Downtown, I-35 northbound is also closed at Laredo Street. That's that ongoing construction closure, causing about a 10 to 15 minute delay. And not only is it stretching congestion out onto 35, but also onto Highway 90. In fact, I have a live picture here of the tail end of that backup. So this is everyone on Highway 90 who's moving towards I-35 there near Nogalitos. That's the latest with your on-time traffic.
All right, Joy, thank you. We have new details this morning about the case of a woman from Universal City who allegedly stabbed her 9-year-old son to death. According to the arrest warrant, Wilma Medina told police she had thoughts of people who were following her. She also thought that people were on her roof with flashlights. She is accused of killing her son David Wednesday morning at their home off Zodiac and Forum Roads. Authorities say that Medina also stabbed herself in the leg. She's charged with capital murder. She is still in the hospital under police supervision.
Time is 6:43. Happening today, Governor Greg Abbott will sign into law newly passed camp safety legislation at the governor's mansion. The governor will be joined by families of the Camp Mystic victims and legislative leaders. Upon signing, youth camps in Texas must remove cabins from floodplains and use emergency warning systems.
Recovery is moving forward slowly there in the Hill Country after those devastating floods left behind widespread damage. There are piles of debris. Those may be gone, but neighbors say full recovery will take months, probably, though, years. In Kerr County, recovery efforts continue as volunteers and nonprofits work to feed families and to help rebuild what was lost. Community groups say that no one is being left behind to face the disaster alone.
It's our home, and we know people who have lost properties, children, and the pain is going to exist for some people for their entire lives.
Yeah, for sure. FEMA and local nonprofits remain there on the ground supporting families who still say they are struggling to recover.
In the
Alan at the Light Desk. We are following some breaking news out of Portugal where that deadly streetcar derailment happened earlier this week. It's now being called a tragedy beyond Portugal's borders. Officials saying this morning that 11 of the 16 people killed were foreigners, including one American. Those victims were riding that popular Lisbon tourist attraction when the crash happened. 16 people died, 21 others were hurt. Investigations are underway to try and figure out what caused the crash. The prime minister there calling this one of the biggest tragedies of that country's recent past. And the streetcar's wreckage was removed from the scene overnight, police taking it into their custody now. That's the latest from the Live Desk.
Making headlines, Elias Rodriguez, the man accused of shooting and killing 2 staff members from the Israeli embassy in Washington last May, has pleaded not guilty. Both sides say there is an extensive amount of evidence in this case, including video and photos. The Department of Justice could potentially seek the death penalty.
The State Department has issued sanctions against 3 Palestinian human rights groups. The groups are Al-Haq, the Al-Maizan Center for Human Rights, and the Palestinian Center for Human Rights. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the groups have engaged in the illegitimate targeting of Israel. That comes after they asked the International Criminal Court to investigate and arrest Israeli leaders. They issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the country's former defense minister.
The Associated Press reporting the military is sending 150 of their lawyers to the Justice Department to start working as immigration judges. The DOJ asking the DOD for 600 candidates to serve as temporary immigration judges. Union figures show there are currently 600 judges, but more than 100 have quit recently, and there's a backlog of more than 3 million cases.
To think that we're going to take attorneys, as good as they may be, and train them on the spot in immigration law is naive.
So, to that extent, a former judge says that training includes a 2-year probationary period with an experienced mentor. There's no word on how or if that would be applied to this case. Also, no new judge would work more than 6 months. That, however, could be renewed.
President Trump is lowering tariffs on Japanese car imports. The deal has been finalized between the 2 countries, and it includes an agreement that Japan will be investing $550 billion into U.S. projects that the government chooses.
All right, if you use Instagram, listen up. After more than a decade, Instagram finally updates on the iPad. The original version, you could only use it for pictures, but now you can access feeds, reels, how it's supposed to be used. DMS will look similar to what it looks like on Facebook Messenger. Meta says the new version will also launch on Android tablets soon.
Advocates want to remind people of phantom energy. Not only does it negatively affect the environment, but it's also raising the cost of your electricity bill. To try and conserve energy, you might think you're doing your part by turning off appliances when they're not being used. But environmental experts say electricity can still flow through the plugs in your home. It's called phantom energy. This energy or unused electricity can place a burden on power plants that run on fossil fuels. And more fossil fuel used leads to more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere.
CO2 is being pumped up in the air whether or not we're using that electricity or not. So if you're wasting that amount of electricity, in the U.S. alone, it's about $22 billion worth of waste altogether. And that's just money, resources that we aren't getting back.
You can start by immediately unplugging the charger when your phone's at 100%. You can also unplug other gadgets like TVs or toasters to further save energy.
All right, so we all got busy lives, obviously, which means when it comes to eating, you either skip meals or simply order takeout a lot of times, and that starts to add up. In fact, a lot. A new survey shows that Americans spend $4,000 a year on takeout, and that does not include groceries. Millennials spend the most on restaurants and takeout, followed by Gen Z, Gen X, and boomers. And there are ways to save. Kits have become very popular. Things like HelloFresh and Blue Apron. They can help you save grocery costs and reduce waste.
It can seem like a very expensive option when we start thinking about the per serving basis. But when we compare that to spending $25 to $40 on DoorDash for one meal, it can really make you think, hey, a meal kit could be a little bit more of an affordable option.
Experts say that a free trial and review, the best way to do this is to get one of those free trials and then review the cancellation policy before you subscribe.
Now you're certified most accurate 4-zone weather with meteorologist Jennette.
So apparently, Marisa and her family eat out every single night because she's like, $4,000, like we would kill for that.
Doesn't sound like a whole
It doesn't
lot.
sound right.
Yeah.
$4,000 a year on takeout.
On average. So for the $100,000 that you spend, apparently every there might be
don't.
somebody who spends $500. So average it out. That's how an average works.
Okay, David. So the weather.
Give him the wrap. In the
She
weather
turned her
department.
back on me. Did you see that? It's just, nah.
$4,000. You divide that by 12, David. That is nothing.
We'll argue about this later.
Yeah, while I do weather, because you're going to see some changes this weekend. It's going to be one of those weekends where you want to have that 4-zone weather app. The chance for rain is returning. Timing, not so great because it's the weekend, but we could use some more rain around here. Today, dry and hot. We'll see highs climbing back to the upper 90s. And some spots will make it into the triple digits. Here's that weekend weather forecast. Tomorrow does look partly to mostly cloudy. 20 to 30% rain chance, couple showers, maybe a thunderstorm, not an all-day deal. Sunday, though, that rain chance does increase. Scattered showers, couple thunderstorms, rain chance up to 50%. Sunday's high 89. Heads up, western part of our viewing area under a level 2 out of 4 excessive rainfall risk. This is where there is a increased risk for flash flooding, especially Sunday into Monday. We're already seeing that tropical moisture surging into Texas. The center of Lorena is sitting just off the coast of Baja California, but notice the moisture that is streaming across Mexico and into Texas. And there is rain that's falling from the Panhandle to far west Texas, including New Mexico and over northern Mexico. The cloud cover associated with that moisture is what's here in San Antonio this morning. We're also going to see this frontal boundary moving south across the state. That, too, is going to play a role in the chance for rain over the weekend, and it's going to help to bring in somewhat cooler air as well. This afternoon, dry. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds over a large part of the area. Tomorrow does look like it's mostly cloudy with a couple showers or a thunderstorm, although I do believe that the bulk of the showers and storms tomorrow morning will be across central Texas. Heads up, our western areas just after lunchtime could see a complex of storms moving off towards the south. By Sunday, again, scattered showers, couple thunderstorms. Does look drier as we go into next week. In the Atlantic Basin, we're watching this tropical wave because this now has a really good chance of becoming Tropical Storm Gabrielle. That's the development zone. Looks like that's headed towards the Windward Islands, possibly moving into the Caribbean, and we have to watch that closely if it moves into the Caribbean because it could make a run into the Gulf. Scattered clouds this morning, warmer, more humid. This afternoon, less humid with partly to mostly sunny skies and high temperatures right around 98 or 99 in town. 102 in the western zone, upper 90s in the hill country and the eastern zone. 91 tomorrow, 89 Sunday, slight rain chance Monday, 10% rain chance Tuesday. We're looking dry and sunny for the middle part of next week. And by then, it warms back up into the mid-90s. 60, 70% rain chance this weekend in the western zone. 40% rain chance in the hill country Saturday, 70 Sunday, 40 Monday. And the eastern zone, look for a 40% rain chance Saturday, 50% rain chance Sunday. A general 1/4 inch to 1.25 inches of rain through the weekend. Some spots out west could pick up over 2 inches.
All right, let's check in again on those roads right before you head out the door here. We are seeing some crowding happening. Here's a look at San Antonio as a whole, but I want to hone in and focus on I-35 here on the northeast side. That is where we are seeing one of our biggest delays, and it's all because of, we had some construction overnight, but then we had an issue with a trailer, a truck that may have lost some of its load. Photojournalist David Mendoza has been tracking that live from your South Texas Ford dealer, Sky 4. Let's check in with him now. Hi, David.
Hi, well, it's still ongoing. There is still a delay. Traffic is building to about Eisenhower Road if you're going north on 35. So 35 between 410 and Thousand Oaks is where this incident is happening. If you're headed this way, you're going to be seeing a bunch of brake lights. I'll leave you with that, folks. Drive safe, and TGIF. Back to you.
Thank God it's Friday, David. Thank you. And then another reminder downtown, about a 15-minute delay here behind that closure on I-35 northbound at Laredo Street, causing a slowdown both on I-35 and on Highway 90. Here's that slowdown on 90 as you approach it. That's the latest with your on-time traffic.
All right, guys, thank you. Texas has launched a downloadable form that would allow kids to be exempt from school-required vaccines.
News 4 San Antonio's Tawny Davis is live right now with the details on the new law and how it could affect your kids at school. Good morning, Tawny.
Good morning. Texas parents will no longer have to wait weeks if they want their child exempt from state-mandated vaccines in order to attend public school. Instead, it will all be done online. Now, before this new law, parents had to contact the state health agency and request the exemption form to be mailed to them. Now, the state health agency has unveiled a vaccine exemption form that can be downloaded. This new law does not change the childhood vaccine schedule. It will, however, allow parents to have access to an online at-home form that allows children to be exempted from being vaccinated in order to attend public schools. Parents will still need to get a notary's signature before giving the form to school officials. Since 2018, the amount of requests to the Texas Department of State Health Services for a vaccine exemption has doubled. It has gone from almost 46,000 to now more than 93,000 requests in 2024. Now, this law does come after a measles outbreak that killed 2 young girls has been declared over in Texas. Instead, Texas leads the nation with the most kindergartens not fully vaccinated against measles at 25,000. Now, the vaccination rate is just above 93%, which is the lowest it has been since 2011. Reporting live, I'm Tawny Davis. Back to you.
All right, Tawny, thank you. How about this story? 2 legends of boxing want to square off next spring. We're talking about Tyson and Mayweather. What? Mike Tyson's 59 years old. Mayweather's 48. He hadn't fought in a decade. By the way, he's never lost. He's 50-0 and 27 knockouts. Tyson's almost as good, 59 wins and 7 losses, but he lost to Jake Paul last year. Mayweather, as I said, has not fought competitively since 2015. No word on when, where, or how much they're making or all this, but they're going to make some money because they're going to get into the ring again next spring.
Well, and Mayweather doesn't like to lose. So you know he's just doing this just to get.
Tyson doesn't like to lose either.
We want to thank everyone who's been playing our Touchdown Trivia, sponsored by Raul B. Rodriguez. Yesterday's winner was Jamie Angel, who won a $100 gift card. Make sure to stay tuned for when we announce our next trivia contest.
Are you a boxing fan?
I like to watch those types of fights.
the
yeah,
spectacles
that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you at noon.
Hey, today's a gift. Make it count. Oh.